Hi, faithful ladypreneurs. Better late than never, right? Sometimes you cannot control when your flight is gonna be late. So we are doing this about an hour late tonight, but that's okay. I'm super excited for talking about and getting real about our fears around selling. So let's kind of uncover some of those things. And as you are watching this video, I want you to go ahead and put in a fear that you have around picking up the phone. Why are you afraid to pick up the phone and start calling people? Because let's be honest, we all have that fear. So welcome to another Technique Tuesday, where we learn divine techniques for real results in your business. And if you did not catch the last video on how to come up with more problem-solving techniques and open your mind up to solutions, go ahead and check out the last video because it was a great one. All right, so let's get into it here. Does this sound familiar to you guys? You finally got the appointment with someone, the phone is ringing, and you are just praying that they won't pick up, right? It's so counterproductive because we set up the phone call so that we could talk to that person and sell that person. But as that phone keeps ringing and ringing, you're thinking, okay, maybe they won't pick up, right? And the whole time you're thinking, okay, well, maybe this isn't a good time for me either. You know, it'll probably just go to voicemail and then I'll have to catch them later. And so you just start thinking about all these things that could go wrong with it, right? And then you start thinking about, what if they do pick up and what am I going to say? You know, all these things go through our minds. And the frustrating thing is that this is how we build our business, is with sales calls. So we need to just get over it and do it, right? Sometimes it's not so easy. So let's go ahead and talk about, since we've all been there before. Hi, Melissa, thanks for joining. Let's talk about the fears that we have around picking up that phone, because that is the lifeblood of our business, is sales. And so we want to make sure we're doing it right, but we have to acknowledge the fact that we have those fears so that we can overcome them. So some common fears that we have, please go ahead and add them to the comments here, is 1, rejection, right? Nobody likes to be rejected. 2 is coming off spammy or salesy, or that you're afraid that they won't think that you're genuine and really care about them. 3 is that they won't see your value or your price is too high, right? Especially those people who can set their own pricing. Sometimes we really get nervous about that. And really is that you'll forget where you're at in the conversation and either make a huge fool out of yourself, who's done that before, or you'll completely lose where you're at and not be able to cover all the points that you want to, that are so crucial, and you're really wanting to make a good impression on this person. Hi, Terry, thanks for watching. So, you know, we all have these different fears, and I'm sure there's a whole bunch of them out there, but these are the top ones that I've heard. So let's really dive into each one of these fears that we have to dispel the fear that grabs us and holds us account, like it keeps us from making those phone calls. So let's talk about rejection. Ouch, right? Nobody wants to be rejected. So rejection is something that we all face. And let's kind of go back and think about why rejection is so awful. You know, back in the old days, like maybe caveman days or something like that, when we lived in tribes, if you were rejected from your tribe, that was it, right? You wouldn't have shelter, you wouldn't have food. I mean, basically a rejection would be a death sentence back then. And I think that there's still part of us who really holds on to rejection as something that's going to keep us safe. Hi, Tiffany, thanks for joining. So, you know, we wouldn't do something unless it benefited us in some way. And rejection is the same way. It hurts bad when we're rejected because it's our way of keeping ourselves safe. But the thing about it is that you have the ability to say, you know, to your mind or your thoughts or whatever that looks like for you, you know, thank you for keeping me safe, but I don't have to deal with this rejection anymore. So choose to feel the rejection and do it anyway. because that is the whole point of business, is to do the things that other people won't, so you get paid and can make the difference that other people have not been able to. So rejection, feel the rejection and do it anyway. Know that you're going to get it, and just make sure that it's not about you, it's just about them. One of the greatest kind of ideas that I've heard around rejection is, let's say that you are a waitress at a restaurant, right? And you're serving this wonderful family, and they ordered a bunch of things from you, and they had a great dinner and everything went great. Well, you go over there and you say, well, would you guys like to see the dessert menu? And they say, no, thank you. Well, you wouldn't say, oh my gosh, dessert doesn't work, right? I'm a terrible waitress because I can't get them to get dessert. Hey, Sarah. And that's the same way that we need to look at our business, is that sometimes it's right for people and sometimes it's not. And it doesn't have anything to do with us. It has to do with them and their situation. So next time that you're rejected, just think about the fact that it would be absolutely ridiculous for a waitress to say, I am no good at selling desserts, right? All gonna face that rejection, and it's not personal. Okay, so let's tackle the next one here. Coming off as spammy or salesy or not genuine. Give me a thumbs up if this one is hitting you home, right? I grew up in a house where we tried new network marketing companies like on a monthly basis. And so I was really worried when I first started my own business that people would just think I'm just trying to sell them on the next thing. Relationships as our number one thing. If we focus on building relationships and not spamming our product or our website or whatever it is out there in the world, then we're not going to come off as spammy or salesy. So number one is focusing on building relationships. And number two, to make sure that we never come off as spammy or salesy, is that we never offer our product or service unless we can see the value in it for someone else, unless it meets their needs. When you meet someone's needs and you're not spamming it everywhere and you're focused on that relationship, you don't have to worry about not being considered genuine and coming off as that sleazy salesperson. So don't even worry about it. It's just your inner dream stealer in your head saying that, oh, they're going to think of you as spamming. So let that go. You guys all form relationships, and you guys all really focus on the needs of your prospects. So don't worry about it. Okay. And honestly, don't we just care too much about what other people think of us anyway? It's so easier said than done for us to just say that we don't care about what other people think about us. I think that's one of those survival things, is that somehow we care about that and that protects us. But the fact of the matter is that if we buy other people's opinions, we buy their lifestyle, and we need to really be careful about whose opinions we are buying. So just a side note. Okay, so let's focus on, they will think your price is too high or they don't see the value in it. So price is too high. So some of you, this may not apply for. If you're in a network marketing company or you're selling a product that somebody else has created and you're part of that company, then you don't have to worry about setting your own price. But all those coaches out there and all those massage therapists and all those photographers, we get to set our own price, which is fun and exciting, but we question it a lot, don't we, ladies? And we question the value behind it, and that's the worst thing we want to do. So I want you guys to take on a challenge. I want you to pretend for just a week when you're doing your sales calls that your price is what it is. It's as if a parent company or, whatever company set that price for you and you can't change it, because you guys already have a price. And I bet you've already prayed about the price that you're charging and you know why you're charging the price that you are. You just have to act as if it's a matter of fact. We don't cringe when we say the price. We don't, start second guessing ourselves. We just say it matter of factly. And then that way, that will stick with the person that we're talking to, and they'll see the value. So just a challenge for you guys, those who set your own price. And honestly, that concept of not seeing the value, it's our job as salespeople, which we are, to help them to understand the value. And so one of the things that I found really helpful is to make a list of all of the reasons why my product or service is valuable, or why other people have said that it's valuable, or the results that they've gotten. So make that great list of value that you get or other people have gotten from your product or service, and just have it in front of you on those sales calls that you have, just so it can remind you of the great value that you do provide, because I guarantee every single one of you provides an amazing value, and sometimes we forget that. We need to be reminded of it. And then the other thing, a surefire way to help other people see the value is always identify their need in the sales conversation. A lot of times what happens, and I can see this especially with people who are new to sales, is they sit there and talk about their product the whole sales conversation, and they don't even do what's called a needs analysis of understanding that other person's needs. And once we understand that other person's needs, all we have to do is tie it back to our product or service. And then it becomes a no-brainer. You said that you were looking for 1, 2, 3. Well, 1, 2, 3 is going to be solved by A, B, and C. And when you tie their needs back to your value, that is where they're going to see the value. And it's just going to be, okay, how do I work with you, right? So always do that. Okay, and then the last one. This one is a biggie, right? And thanks for hanging on with me for this longer video than I usually do, but it's really, really good things, and I couldn't think of anything to take out because it's so important for us to address our fears around sales. So, last thing is that we will forget what we are supposed to say in the sales conversation, and we'll skip something that might be really, really important. Well, that is why no matter how long you've been doing sales, you should always have a script or at least an outline that you can follow. This way, you don't have to focus or have your thoughts on, okay, what do I say next? And, did I miss that part? And, okay, well, what if we just stop talking and then we have that awkward silence, right? You guys have all been there. So that's why you have a guide to be able to help you with that. It's like trying to be a tour guide in a place that you have never been before without a map. Who would do that? And every single prospect and potential client that we talk to is like being in a place we've never been before. So when you have that script or that outline in front of you, then that is your map to be able to help guide that prospect through to the sale on the other side. So make sure you're always using a script or at least an outline, even if you've been doing sales for 25 years, so that you know where to take that and you take your prospects through the same process every single time, because that's where the power is going to be for you to do it over and over and over again, and you're going to get more used to it. And you can focus on their needs and what they're saying instead of where you're at in your sales process. It's all right there for you. And just to be honest with you guys, I have studied sales scripts and sales guides for years, and I have come up with some amazing bullet points and outlines for myself and for my clients, and I would love to offer that with you guys as well. So we can set up a strategy session. If you are interested, put I want one in the comment below, or sign me up, either way, and let's get serious about your call script and your call guide and your outline, so that you can feel really comfortable about being on that sales call. So go ahead and say I want that in the comments, and we'll get scheduled a strategy session so that you have a customized sales script for you and your business and your product. So remember that deep down inside, most of us, if not all of us, are afraid of rejection, afraid of that sales call. But the fact of the matter is that if we do it over and over and over again, and we really focused, awesome Terry, we really focus on that other person, their needs, and what they're saying to us. Because really that's what God is helping us to do, is make a difference in people's lives. So when we focus on them and not focus on our negative doubts and fears, we will have confidence in that sales call. And we will know that we are making a great difference for those people that we're talking to. Because you can't say the right thing to the wrong person. And you can't say the wrong thing to the right person. So just make sure you're coming off as polished as possible, and being able to follow that sales script and that sales guide will be able to help you to do that. But the fact of the matter is it's all in God's hands. We just show up and do, what He asks us to do, which is make a difference that we're meant to make. I would love to know your thoughts on this topic too. So please add in the comments, what are ways that you can get yourself on those sales calls when you're feeling a little anxiety around it? And then I want you to share this video on your Facebook page, because there are other faithful ladypreneurs that are not in our group who should be, to be able to get great tips like this. So keep watching these Technique Tuesdays for divine techniques for real results for your business. Thanks, ladies. Have a good night.